Hi guys, Giant here with a battle report again. My mate came over with his Demons of Lust list again. You did see this a couple of weeks back, but I'll just run through it again very quickly. He's got 4 fiends there with additional hand weapons, with a chariot next to them, 3 fiends with additional hand weapons again, 5 furies with the mark of lust with a siren chariot behind it, a unit of 30 and a unit of 29 sirens with additional hand weapons, just musician and banner in both of them. Then he's got his big engine there and his general there with a path of lust and the lash of lust as well. That lash is quite nasty. It's, you know, strength as user. It's 2d6 shooting attacks, I think, so could be quite problematic for me in this game. But we'll go on to what the dwarfs have. So I brought to battle, I've got a gyrocopter there with 15 slayers, seekers, and a vengeance seeker there. That's on my left flank. In the middle of the table I've got, I think it was 20 hand weaponed and shield warriors with 30 iron breakers, and now I've got my king and my runic smith. And then again I've got 20 warriors with 15 seekers, a gyrocopter and a seeker again. My king's got a 1-up, 4-up as usual, and to be honest, I think my magic's pretty much the same. I think I've gone for the reroll on armor saves, -1 to wound and rerolling hits in combat. The marker there is for the hold your ground objectives, so smack bang in the middle of the table. He's got no charge. For his movement phase, he moves everything forward on the right flank. Both his units of fiends and his chariots push forward. Here again, he pushes forward his 2 units of sirens, puts his lords on the far flank to get them into position for a bit later on. So for his magic, he has a pretty good magic phase there, and he goes to cast off Shadow Miasma, which goes off on my iron breakers for movement, so they're now -3 movement. And then he uses his attribute spell to move his lord closer, but luckily for me he marched in his movement phase and can't actually do anything, and he's shooting this turn. Wicked Lash goes through on the double 6, I'll let him have that, which actually probably, you know, kills 4 or 5 of my seekers. And in return, just he rolls witch fire and only kills 2 of his sirens. So maybe think again about that later. Irresistible Waltz goes off, but there was no damage done to any of my units for that turn. So as we go into my turn, I bring the gyrocopter and the vengeance seeker up around the flank. My thoughts are to try and get in and behind his lines if I can. Now, both of the units have got the speed for that. If I can get the fiends in the flank with the vengeance seeker, or maybe the rear, and hoping to get my seekers in the front of them, you know, I could potentially wipe that unit out in 1 turn of combat. So I push my seekers up just past the columns there to try and bait in the fiends and to see what happens on that side of the flank. So as we go to the centre of the table, the Iron Guards stay where they are for now, so I don't really have the movement. I push up the warriors on the other side. Here I turn my seekers to try and protect the flank of my warrior unit, but you know, his demon, you know, he's got the speed, he's got the whip, he's not a combat character, so I have no idea why I did that move for. Just a quick comment as well, I've got a demon seeker in that, and he's got the D3 wounds, magical resistance upgrade, and the base-to-base combat upgrade as well, so he's pretty killy if he can get in with his general. I reckon he could stand a chance with him. But again, you know, silly move and my mistake. Should have moved them up and tried to get into combat with everything where he couldn't shoot me. My gyrocopter on the other flank comes up to the flank of his demon engine and tries, you know, for shooting in a minute. So magic phase, I roll an 8, and I'll try to get off as many spells as I can. I tried to get off the Reckoning, but he didn't. He dispelled it. I got off Rune of Gleaming on these guys, which he let through. The one I really wanted to go off was the -1 to wound on the Seekers or the Warriors. I can't remember which, but again he dispelled that. So just going into shooting here, we'll do a wound on his Demon Engine. Fantastic. Gyrocopter number 1 shooting to the Fiends and puts 1 wound on them as well. So, you know, not a fantastic turn of shooting for me, but I'm happy to get some wounds on his army, to be honest. So in his turn 2, he pulls everything back slightly. I'm not sure why, but I think he's obviously got something planned for me. On the other side of the table, he puts both of his Fiend units right into the middle. Turns his Demon Engine to shoot at my Gyrocopter, and he lines up the lines up his general next to my Seekers to start shooting with that whip. I'd imagine. Going into magic, he rolls 6, tries to get Wicked Lash off again, which I think he does. That's alright, I dispelled that one. And then he tries to get off his spell. I can't remember what it was, but I dispelled it, so there's obviously no damage there. Big guy shoots a Gyrocopter and causes 2 wounds to it. That volley gun of his and that free upgrade, and then his general goes and whips up my Slayers. I think I got a bit lucky with this. He only kills 3 of them, so I'm quite happy with that. And so then we go into Dwarf turn 2. So at the start of Dwarf turn 2, I decided to try and get some of my units into combat. So we're going from the Seekers closest to his general. They go to charge the far side of the Sirens. I think I'm not going to win that this time, but I think I'll win it in 2 or 3 rounds of combat. My Vengeance Seeker there, which is right in the middle of the table, next to our spell card. They're going to go for the Fiends. I don't think I'm going to win, but I should hold them up for at least a couple of turns to try and get something to help him. And again, my Seeker's on the far side next to the couple of columns there. They're going to charge his Fiends on the far side, which I think I should do some damage to and win that combat. So they get a stonking roll for their charge and make it in. The Vengeance Seeker makes it in as well. Hindsight, probably not the best move I ever did. And these Seekers got into the Sirens on the other side of the field. So for movement, I bring my Gyrocopter around this big man. Again, to try and have a few pop shots at him. And my other Gyrocopter comes on the far side of the table to either shoot at the Fiends or the Chariot there. This Seeker didn't make it in, so he's now in the middle of the field by himself. So in movement phase, I'll bring the Iron Guard up to just under halfway of the table. Now, I know I've got a lot of charges on me. I've got his 2 Chariots, one of which I'm hoping is angled to go through the Dangerous Train, which is in the middle, which is a bit of scenery you can see there in the middle. But they've both got a long bomb charge into my Iron Breakers. His General doesn't have that of long distance to charge into the flank there, and those Sirens can get in, but it will take some dangerous trains. I do have the Hold Stone in the unit, so if they do all get into combat, we can pop that and see how they hold up against multiple charges there. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Now the Warriors, I've done it again there. I have moved them to protect the flank of the Iron Breakers again. That's a bit of a silly move. This army's got speed on their side, so are really going to be manoeuvring around that. And thus far, I think I've made a few silly manoeuvres, and I think, especially moving the Iron Guard up into the centre, that might have just cost me the game, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. So for magic, we get off for the flux. We get 9 power dice. tried to get Reckoning off on my Greybeard's unit, which I don't think goes off. Try and get Resilience on the unit again, and again he dispels it. And Gleaming, I think, was the only one I get to get off again. You know, I don't really want to be rolling 4 dice because if I do, I'm going to lose a spell. So 3 dice is pretty much maximum, but everyone having, you know, he's on +3 to dispel against me, so it's quite hard to get any sort of magic off really at all against him. You know, which is quite usual state of affairs at the moment for Dwarfs, I think. So I decided to shoot his fiends, and you know, put another wound on them. On the other side again, I shoot his furies and I only kill 1. I bought the upgrade here, so I'm shooting at 18-inch range, which is quite nice. So my Vengeance Seeker goes in and does 2 wounds through his fiends, and then dies and kills all of his "you coming with me" rule. So I think they're about the same sort of point, so it's not too bad to trade off. This is the unit with my Demon Seeker in. He wins that combat by being unbreakable. I stick around for the next turn. In the Demon's Lust turn 3, he takes both of his fiend units and tries to charge my warrior's unit. Both over the wall, so both going to be at dangerous train tests there. Both of the chariots go into the iron breakers. The general tries to go to the iron breakers, and the sirens go into the iron breakers as well, which is what I thought would happen. So again, you know, quite a silly manoeuvre on my behalf, but with a hold zone we can see how much punishment they can take with that. So there's a quick view of everything. The picture before we saw the fiends in on the warriors, and that's what my Iron Guard looked like. And just a quick top view there. Unfortunately for me, he managed to angle it so he wasn't going for the dangerous terrain with his chariot, but nevertheless I don't think much is going to matter. For movement, you saw the Furies move up slightly. I think they're trying to get away from the gyrocopter. This big man turns to face the warrior unit to shoot at, and there's that, a quick overview of what the poor Iron Guard looked like surrounded by Demons of Lust. So he tries to get turn to smoke off on my Iron Guard unit, which he does, and then he gets off glimpse of the end. So I should have mentioned he had a Shadow as well as a Lust Wizard in his army. He does double 6 out. I'll let him have it. Kills a few. Sorry, he puts the spell on, but it doesn't do any damage to him, unfortunately. So we'll go into combat here. Now his fiends kill about 10, and I do absolutely diddly squat back to him. You know, here that he kills 3, I kill 4. He has the ranks, the Seeker's stick. Well, yeah, with impact hits, his charioteers, his Lust Riders, or whatever they're called, his general, and his sirens, they absolutely do a number on my Iron Guard. I think they've killed, well, I know they've killed half a unit. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that absolutely hurt. Even with the hold stone, you know, I'm parrying to the side, so I've still got 2 up armor save on the side. Didn't really help a lot. You know, I am -1 strength and minus toughnesses as well, so his buffs really did help him there. I think my saving grace is that I'm actually got the bodyguard rule, so I'm steadfast for a bit, so I do have my characters in that unit. I think my only hope is for the next time to try and kill a few things back, and you know, hope for the best. It's just a bit of a different angle there. I think I might just put 1 wound on his chariot, and that's about it. So that's that, I think. So if we go into Dwarven Holds turn 3. So in true Dwarven style, we're not going to let a few Iron Guard being killed stop us. We're going to charge in with the gyrocopter against his fiends. I should be alright with that. I'm in the flank. I know they've got a couple of attacks each, but still, you know, toughness 5 I should be okay. The warriors try to get into his big fella and fail miserably. Fantastic. So for shooting, I just bring the gyrocopter around to try and pepper his big man, but no luck. The Seekers, they weren't in charge range, so they just move up close to these fiends, try and help out. I try and give my Iron Guard distracting. I think it does go off in the end. Here I managed to kill 2 of his fiends, and he stays on his break test. And these sirens are just absolutely mashing my Seekers unit to bits. I personally don't think that should be happening, but it is. I mean, my Demon Seeker, he's not doing a great deal to help. He's only killing 1 or 2 a turn, and he's gone. I think he's on about 9 attacks at the moment. But yeah, still, that unit of Seekers absolutely decimates. Sorry, those unit of Sirens are decimating my Seekers. Combat with the Iron Guard, he only manages to kill 7 this turn. I think I put a wound on his general. I think I put a couple on his Sirens, and that's about it. And I'm still stubborn there. So it's 2 turns of combat they've held up for. Let's hope they can do enough. So after his fiends made short work of my warriors, he turned and faced my Seekers. Now he's charging them. Here, I don't think the Seekers are going to be around too much now, seeing what those fiends can do and the amount of attacks. His big man charges my warrior unit, who, like true brave dwarfs, stand and fight. And that's pretty much an overview of the battlefield there. So everything's in a scrap. Top of that, he gets off a good magic phase, which is not what I need at this precise moment. He goes to try and get off turn to smoke. I don't really want that going off. It's pretty crippling for me. And he rolls a massive 17 plus his caster level, so he's on 19 for that. He only gets I can't dispel that, and he only gets a 1. Here, again, those Sirens just absolutely smashing the crap out of my Seekers. And here the Fiends absolutely ripped a new one on my Seekers here. So going into the main combat here, he kills all the Iron Guard bar my champion, so I'm still got a bodyguard. I think I only do a couple of wounds again, lose the combat, and obviously I'm good on my reroll. With the big fella on the warriors, he kills quite a few. I think I'll do 1 wound back to him. I'm steadfast and we stick and fight for the next turn. A very quick overview from my side of the table, just to show you what's left of the Dwarfs. Not a lot. So I've got, the early charges I'm doing. I'm going to put the gyrocopter into the flank of the Siren, see if that helps out with anything. Pretty much auto win on that one. Last time my Demon Seeker took a wound there. My Vengeance Seeker is going to go into the flank. I don't think that's a wise idea, but it could help out a little bit. I tried to get off the Rune of Gleaming again on my Iron Breakers, but he doesn't let it. He dispels that. Here I managed to kill off the last Fiend. Yeah, and that was an absolute mess. That was. He kills 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7 of my Seekers. My Vengeance Seeker can only do 4 or 5 wounds back to him. So here, my Demon Seeker actually finally wakes up and kills about 6 of the Sirens. The Gyrocopter kills 1. He kills the last of my Seeker, but I think he wins. I'll put the Musician there because he wins by a Musician. So after ranks and banners and all that sort of stuff, so pretty good fight. And at last he kills my unit, champion, and my king, and my BSB, and my Runic Smith. So points wise, game over there, but we're going to carry on anyway, as true Dwarfs do. So here he charges both of his chariots into my gyrocopter, and I flee from both of them and end up only a couple of inches off the table edge. Unfortunately for him, he takes one through the dangerous terrain there and loses it. So he gives me the early points I've got of the game so far. Again, magic, you know, he gets pretty good roll on his magic dice, rolling a 9. Tries to go off turn to smoke again. I think that was on my Seekers, but it doesn't matter. I don't think I let it off. So yeah, his big man finishes my warriors. His fiends finishes my Seekers. You know, sad faces all round. Here I kill a load more of his sirens, sorry, and actually win that combat. But he obviously sticks around. Again, just a quick overview. I've got no charges. My gyrocopter rallies. We're going to combat here. Vengeance Seeker and the gyrocopter finally finish off the sirens on the far side. Face down his general and his big man with them. And then we go on to Deamons' last turn. So in his last turn he decides to charge a gyrocopter. I stand because he needs like 10, 11 and 12, which he gets. The sirens charge into my Demon Seeker and get in, and unfortunately kill him in combat. Chariot gets in there and unfortunately kills him in combat, and that's my army done. I think I've got one gyrocopter left, which I think actually failed its panic test with the Demon Seeker dying and panicked away. So he gets absolute maximum points. I don't think anyone got the scenario bonus. Food for thought. You know, I think I gave away points too easily in this. Like I said earlier, I tried protecting my flank against an army that can severely outmaneuver me. I think I did that on a couple of times. Moving the Iron Guard up was a big mistake because of those multiple charges. You know, fair enough, they were quite long charges on some of them, but still, you know, possibly shouldn't have put them where I did. Yeah, it was as fun as it can be for being tabled by your opponent. You know, I've only got myself to blame for that. But you know, he's getting. I think he's got this demon. I've lost this down to a T. I will say though that whip's pretty nasty. You know, he went around. He did kill a lot of that. Unfortunately for him though, once you get into combat, you can't shoot with it. I would hate to see what two of those whips could do against you. The unit of my game was probably the, I would like to say the Demon Seeker, but he was absolutely rubbish up until about turn 5. It's going to have to be the Iron Guard for holding up as much as they did with the multiple charges and units he had on them. And I think his unit of the game was the Seekers that absolutely decimated the same block of Seekers with my Demon Seeker in it. Yeah, so that's how it is. I mean, I've got a couple more games lined up. I mean, unfortunately I've been busy, you know, I've had kids off school, and as soon as I meant to go back to school, sod's law, they became ill, so I had to look after that. Also, I've been finishing off a new gaming mat project, so hopefully you'll get to see that pretty soon. I think my next game I've got against is either, I think I'm playing against the Highborns again, and then I've got a game coming up where I'm actually going to try out some Undying Dynasties against some vampire counts, but that won't be for about a week or so now. But again, you know, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much.